Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, cause that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation? This is your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Look, today we're breaking down everything that has happened, why A.J. Brown is staying put, and that's what matters most, how Jaelan Phillips could quietly change the shape of the defense, and how his deadline spree proves that the Eagles aren't just playing for the playoffs. Man, we're playing for a Lombardi. So buckle up, grab your coffee, and let's get into the main thing. Before we do that, please make sure that you're commenting, liking, you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss what me and Mr. Owens drop these new videos on y'all. Now, look, we talked about A.J. Brown. He made it through the trade deadline, right? A.J. Brown is still on the Philadelphia Eagles roster. And now that might sound a little obvious to some, but there was plenty of chatter leading up to November 4th about potential tension and trade rumors circling around our star wide receiver. Now, let's be clear. It never made sense for the Eagles to trade one of the best wide receivers in the league. We're sitting at 6-2, eyeing a Super Bowl run. So why we get rid of Swole Batman? Thankfully, reason prevailed. A.J. Brown remains an Eagle for at least the 2025 season, and he'll be catching passes in the midnight green, baby. Hopefully hoisting that Lombardi at the end of the year.
I spent 4 bands on a coat, on a Montclair. I spent the fucking band on some loafs, on some God shit. I spent 100 on my Air Force Ones, on my ones, yeah. The stump a nigga any Air Force Ones, Air Force Ones, yeah.
Now, Howie Roseman on these rumors, he put it to bed, Sam. We are trying to be a great team. It's hard to trade great players. A.J. Brown is a great player. He's a captain. He cares about winning. He cares about his teammates. You just don't trade players like that when you're chasing championships. And honestly, I couldn't agree more. We are in a Super Bowl era, in the midst of a Super Bowl run. Why would you get rid of a player who can help you hoist that Lombardi and put you in a potential to achieve all that you set out to achieve at the beginning of the year? It just didn't make sense. Now, Roseman quote says it all. The Eagles are all in on this season. Are the vibes weird at time? You could possibly say, yeah, a little bit. But Philly gets on a run. Brown starts torching secondaries again. And look, all that noise is put to bed. The focus now is chemistry, not contracts, not speculation, just flat out playing football. If Brown and Hurst can get back on the same page, and the team is still one of the most complete offenses, not only in the NFC, but you could arguably say in the league. So Brown stays put, but Howie didn't exactly stay still at the deadline, right? He made not one move, talking about Howie Roseman now, not one move, not 2, but 3 trades leading up, addressing 2 of the team's biggest needs. We all know it, cornerback and edge rusher. The headline move was a trade with the Miami Dolphins for pass rusher Jaelan Phillips. Philly sent the 2026 third-round pick to Miami, for Phillips. And Phillips is still only 26 years old. There's still a lot of football ahead of this young man. He's already produced like one of the top-tier edge rushers in the league, especially when healthy. Phillips also reunites with defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, who coached him in Miami during that 2023 season, where he posted 6.5 sacks and 27 pressures in just 8 games before tearing his Achilles. So my man was real live on a tear. You arguably say he was averaging close to a sack a game for that 8-game stretch, pressuring the quarterback left and right. The fit seems seamless. Fangio knows just how to use this guy, often kicking him inside against guards where he can win with quickness, but also has the power to add to his arsenal when need be. Now, The 2025 stats for him, he hasn't played much this year, but 19.3 pass rush win rate, which will rank first on the Eagles. 18.1% pressure percentage per PFF. Top 3 pressure rate in the NFL since week 5, according to Next Gen Stats. So my man has really been putting in that work coming off that injury for real. Came back with a vengeance. You could tell this was a proven year for him, proved to not only to other players, coaches, but probably more so to himself. The Eagles here are betting on upside. This is a low risk, high reward deal. Philly will only have to pay him about $1.5 million for the rest of the year. So you damn near got him for nothing. Miami's going to eat up the rest of his 5th-year option on his contract. If he walks, Philly likely recoups a compensatory pick, a 4th-round compensatory pick. So either way, it's a win-win. So really, they're paying a 2026 3rd round to potentially rent a high-end edge rusher for the playoffs, right? With the chance to get their pick back later. Howie is flat out just a genius. How he moves picks, players, monies. Me and Mr. Owens were talking off camera. You could say best GM of the decade and arguably one of the best GMs or better GMs across all sports. This is classic Howie Roseman asset management, right? Now, the real question is, which version of Jaelan Phillips shows up in Philly? Do we get that 2023 Fangio version who was dominant and flashed damn near every game? Or are we going to get the one who's still kind of working back for injury? I'm banking on that 2023 version just because good old Vic knows how to get the best out of his players, especially ones who truly buy in and are willing to work. And then the second one is, could this move finally wake up a pass rush that's been a little inconsistent this year? We finally just got our first 5-sack game, which was great to see because some boys were really getting after it. But this move only adds to what we already have, right? In that edge room with the Jalen Hunts, the Nolan Smiths, the Uches, the Azeez Ojalaris, right? This is a very deep edge room now, and I believe that we'll really pick it up from here, right? But that wasn't the only place Howie went shot. But it wasn't just down there, you know what I mean, on the strip down in Miami. My man then went up and traded for Jaelan Alexander. Eagles traded a 2026 6th-round pick for Jaelan Alexander and a 2027 7th rounder from the Ravens. Alexander, a former Pro Bowler, hasn't been quite himself lately. Limited snaps. Went in Baltimore, nagging injuries, maybe a bit of a confidence dip. You know, corner is all about playing confidence. He really wasn't getting a lot of burn over there. But at just 28 years old, he still has plenty of talent, right? His 2024 tape in Green Bay was much better than his 2025 showing, mainly because there isn't a lot of tape on him in the 2025 season, right? But there's a hope that a change of scenery plus the Fangio zone match system can revive him. He's not likely to start immediately, right? But adds experience, a bunch of communication, and leadership to a very young cornerback room. A room that already in his 2nd season, if I'm not mistaken, Quinyon Mitchell might be the oldest cornerback we have there right now, right? So you add him, a player who's been there, done that, has performed at a high level. He can do nothing but boast. A room that was somewhat struggling, more so was, struggling to find that CB2. Now, we speak about connections, familiarity. Philly is big on that. Alexander overlapped with Eagles DB coach Christian Parker in Green Bay, so there's some familiarity there. And familiarity matters. And this is just a culture thing, not a desperation move, but we're all about connection. ESPN graded this move for Philly as a B-. I'd probably give it a solid B, leaning towards B+, just because of the reward that you can get out of this if Jair can stay healthy and perform, right? It's not like throwing darts at a problem kind of trade. This is, once again, a low cost, potentially high reward if Alexander can rediscover his form, which I believe he can under Fangio, and connecting now, or reconnecting, I should say, with Christian Parker, who has done wonders for our DBs. The Eagles don't need Jair to be 2020 Jair Alexander. We just need Bull to be solid. A serviceable cornerback, too. Think about it. A rotation of Q, Cooper DeJean, Alexander, Ringo, Adoree Jackson, when he comes back, that cornerback room went from looking kind of scarce, and you can add Michael Carter the second in there. We'll talk about him in a minute. We're looking kind of, suspect to this room. Someone looks a little deep now. We had some real depth at the cornerback position. If he can even just Jair, this is come in and give us 70% of what he was. That's a win for Philadelphia. But that also shows how inconsistent CB2 has been for us during this year. So if he can come and give us 70%, why wouldn't we take that? This is a ball hawk guy. He get backs. He works on his technique, works on the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? He could tackle. He could be a solid, serviceable CB2 while we make this Super Bowl run. Then we have the third trade, the last trade that Howie made, right? Was really probably the first trade, but in this order, it'll be our third trade, right? We traded for Michael Carter the second, traded wide receiver John Mechie the third, and a 2027 6th-round pick to the Jets for Michael Carter the second and a 2027 7th-round pick. Look, we got rid of John Mechie the third. We speak about familiarity, right? Alabama guys. We've got a lot of roll tie guys on the team. But we traded John Mechie the third because of the confidence that they have in Darius Cooper, the undrafted guy out of Charleston State. I believe he will be a bona fide weapon in this offense once he gets going. He just kind of has to get going. And then the belief and confidence they have in the Jahan Dotson. We already know what swole Batman and skinny Batman are, But even Jahan Dotson, he's come up big when his number was called. So John Mechie was kind of sitting there in limbo, not really getting a lot of tick. I think that's where we kind of offloaded him. Now, Carter has been primarily, for the most part, a nickel cornerback for most of his career. Now, this wasn't a flashy move, but an important one. Important because it adds depth, it adds flexibility. Carter has been seen to play not only the slot, but can potentially play safety. Vic Fangio likes his defenders to have that versatility, be able to play multiple positions, whether it be on the front end or the back end. Take a Jahad Campbell from this year's draft. He's been stellar for us this year as a rookie coming out of Alabama. The linebacker has played off-ball linebacker. And then in some games, you've seen him line up on the edge. Cooper DeJean, play slot, play safety. You know what I mean? Zach Bond, edge players, off-ball. We love versatility. It allows Vic Fangio to disguise his defense in ways he wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have that versatility. So to bring him in, it could be another seamless fit. Fangio could use Carter to let Cooper DeJean possibly move outside in certain packages. Let's say Jair Alexander doesn't pan out. We have to play Coop on the outside corner. We can play Coop there and slide Michael Carter into the slot, and there will be no real drop-off. Or even if you wanted to move Cooper DeJean back to safety, right? You could do that as well, and your nickel cornerback play would still be really, really good, right? Now, don't expect a full-time starting role from Michael Carter, right? This guy is more of what they call it, a glue guy. Guy who holds it together, right? Smart, tough, once again, versatile. Now, when breaking down Michael Carter II's film, this is kind of what I got from it, right? Some very good as far as strength, very good zone awareness. And you're going to need zone awareness in a Fangio scheme. That's one of the things outside of tackling that makes Cooper DeJean so good. His zone awareness is top tier. You could say elite, especially for a second-year player. Very elite. He knows where to look. He knows when he's not covering somebody and it's just him and blades of grass. He knows how to go and find work, as they say, right? Same thing with this guy. Very aware of spatial awareness, very aware of concepts, route concepts, right? He also has the speed to keep up with receivers. Willing tackler, you have to be a willing tackler playing in the slot, right? You see a lot of action in that slot. You're almost playing like a hybrid role, corner, safety, linebacker kind of role, right? You have to be a willing tackler, and you have to have run fit discipline. All of these things, Michael Carter II exudes. All these things you need from a slot cornerback, right? Now, some of his weaknesses, size. He's not the biggest guy. I believe he comes in around 5'10", 5'11", 185 pounds or so, right? So not the biggest guy. Also, from the slot, not a lot of ball production. He only has a couple interceptions during his career with the Jets, and then finishing plays, right? And this is something, so ball production, you get on the jug machine. I mean, you can kind of work on your hands and in your ball production. Size, there's nothing you could do about. Finishing plays is something that can be coached into you as well. It's just more a mindset thing. If the goal was to run 10 yards, don't run 8. You run 11. You finish all the way through the line. So finishing plays, and that'll be not only a thing just for him, I think for the defense in totality, finish, put folks away, right? So some of these things we can coach up. Size you can't coach up, but ball production and finishing plays you can. And the strength of the pros, there's a lot of upside here, right? When he's right, he's quick, instinctive, right, and fits the Fangio defense. Fits the Fangio defense mentality, right? Aggressive, fast flowing to the ball, right? Now, I know we've all heard Philly has been a hotbed for a lot of free agents, a lot of players looking for trades. I mean, out of their current situation, potentially looking for a restart somewhere else or a better situation. My man Carter, let me tell you how bad my man Carter wanted to be an Eagle, right? He gave up a $5 million guarantees just to complete this trade to come to Philadelphia, showing how much he wanted to be here. So you could bet, man, if I'm giving up money to come be here, come be somewhere, I'm all in. We will get 100% of everything Michael Carter II has to give. I can guarantee you that, right? Just for the fact that he get, right? We talk about the Myles Garrett thing. Myles Garrett could have been an Eagle, but he chose money over rings, right? And look, if those are your priorities, those are your priorities, no shame. But to be an Eagle, a Philadelphia Eagle, it's championships over everything. And I believe just with that one simple move by Michael Carter II, that he proved, hey man, that's what I'm about. I'm here to get rings. And this is another guy who's only 26 years old. So he's still in his prime, and there's a lot of football ahead of him. Right? This is another low risk bet. If Carter finds his 2023 form, he's an upgrade in sub packages like wholly. If not, it costs Philly next to nothing. You can honestly say that with all three of these moves. Philly didn't give the house to bring in any of these players. Howie is very smart how he wheels and deals with players and contracts and picks. And we were able to once again get these players on the low end for a potential very, very high reward. Hopefully, and when it's all said and done, we're hoisting that Lombardi again, back to back. No Drake, you feel me? So we'll see. Suddenly, the secondary feels like it has some depth and options. We don't feel hamstrung to have to force a Keely Ringo out there and a Dory Jackson out there and hope for the best, right? Hoping that it's just not a bad day or hoping the quarterback just doesn't even look their way kind of deal. There's options. Fans, you can kind of play around a little bit, right? It's not as tight, a little bit of leeway here. Now, with the big picture, what it all means for the Eagles during this Super Bowl window, the Eagles came into this deadline with two clear needs: pass rusher and corner depth. It was a glaring need. You could see it on a week-to-week basis coming up to the trade deadline. And Howie and Jeff Lurie, they address both without torching the core or mortgaging, future draft capital. Howie's approach this year, it wasn't reckless. It was very much strategic. He used surplus picks to make sensible upgrades. We have a plethora of picks next year, especially within the third and fifth round. So we could afford to give a few picks away to kind of bring in some potentially viable assets to help us during our Super Bowl run. Howie's past deadline moves, they've kind of been hit or miss, not gonna lie. We all remember how Robert Quinn had came in. Year prior, he had like 17 sacks. We brought him in. Robert Quinn barely played, right? You had Kevin Byard. That didn't really pan out. We all remember Golden Tate. That didn't pan out. But this go around, the logic, I don't know. It kind of it seems sound. Fangio's familiarity, some of the roster fits, the age profile, and financial flexibility, they all seem to align, right? The stars are aligning for Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie here from being able to make these moves. We weren't reaching. Like when we drafted, oh my God, I can't remember this guy's name. a Jalen Reagor. We reached. Howie reached. Right? Should have took Justin Jefferson. Surefire hit. These moves, they're sensible. He's not just in a frantic mode trying to bring somebody out. Oh, we're on Super Bowl. Let's find anybody. No, man, you could tell how he actually took his time. They took it and thought this through. And I honestly believe that these moves will pan out, barring everybody staying healthy. Knock on wood, right? Now, some closing thoughts are AJ Brown, he stays. We knew my man wasn't going nowhere. You feel me? The defense gets deeper, faster. The locker room gets a jolt of energy coming out of the bye week, gearing up for the Packers next Monday night during our game. The Super Bowl window still very much wide open for this year and years to come. Howie Roseman didn't blow up the roster. He reinforced it. The Eagles didn't just survive the trade deadline. They leveled up. You could argue the Eagles had the best bye week and trade deadline moves out of any of the other 31 NFL teams. We did the damn thing. We did exactly what we were supposed to do, while still keeping the team intact, right? We didn't have to give up a lot. Like you had seen some trades or Sauce Gardner. They gave up 2 first-round picks and some other stuff. We didn't have to do all that. We took our time, thought logically, and made it make sense. Not only for the person and the team in which we were making trades for, but for ourselves. It had to make sense. And they did just that, right? Eagles come out the deadline, man, we're stronger, deeper, have one of the best front offices in the league. And we're proving that once again, we have an aggressive front office, right? When they say they're all in, they mean they're all in. Not a Jerry Jones, we're all in, and you don't see your first move till midway through the season. This is the true all in. And I have to appreciate Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman for standing on business, man. A lot of these other teams, they ain't standing on business. They may say that. They ain't really about that talk. They're not really about that, right? So they don't panic, they plan. Hopefully, and there's a high possibility that you will see a lot of these players next week on Monday Night Football versus the Packers, which would be great for like a Jair Alexander's going up against his former team. You know what I mean? So go out, do his thing. I'm looking forward to how all these pieces mesh into what we already have and how they can elevate this team in certain areas, right? And that's what it's all about. It's all about making yourself better. Better than you were yesterday, essentially. And you can tell our quarterback adopts that mindset. Our head coach adopts that mindset. The organization adopts that mindset. It's about getting better. And that's what we've done during this bye week. Now, look, we'll have more videos coming out later in the week. You know, we always do our midweek video and our end of the week videos. It's kind of keeping y'all in tune with what's going on with Philadelphia and them Eagles. You know what I mean? Our birds, our brothers in arms, right? So make sure that you're on the lookout for those. I hope everyone's having a great week. As Eagles fans, you should feel great about the position in which our team is right now. We're on road. You can tell each week the team is getting better and better and better. The confidence is growing from coaching staff to players, player staff to coaching players to coaching staff, right? Vice versa, all the way around. The organization is gaining confidence. So let's see the fruits of their labor. I hope everything, we can get a glimpse of that on Monday. But I hope everyone's having a great week. And if you don't know, this is the Main Thing Podcast, and I go by Big Huss. Hey, right here, we keep the main thing. You feel me? Now, till next time, stay blessed. Man, this flag will fly till we die. And let's go, birds.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I Talk that bitch. Dream chaser.